Namaskar. Welcome to episode 62 of Ask Sumit, and we're going to talk about our favorite neighbor, Pakistan first. Let's welcome Sumit ji. Sumit ji, namaskar. Ram Ram, how are you?
Jai Siya Ram, Radhe Radhe sir, all good and fine. Welcome of Lord Mahakal, your Ashirwad and the blessing of all our viewers. Thank you very much and namaskar for having me on the show.
Thank you so much. So, our favorite neighbor, Pakistan. Pakistan pleads, Pakistan bleeds, Pakistan starves, droughts, debt, yet they seem to be able to get the money. And we did one extensive one yesterday. A lot of people have commented on that one as to how IMF and World Bank can be completely blinkered and see some value there that it doesn't exist. All that is good. But this is the Sholay question. कौन से चक्की का पिसा हुआ खाते हैं रोटी है?
Exactly right, sir. Exactly, that is what the Pakistan is. So, thank you, sir. And in the name of Lord Sri Ganesha, we're going to do the Sri Ganesha of today's show, and we're going to talk about a few aspects. What are the various aspects of Pakistan which is just happening? The first thing is that I have to tell you, Asim Munir, I think on Saturday and Sunday, that is Saturday and Sunday, that's exactly less than 24 hours back, he went to his troops in the forward positions and he again told them, be ready for jihad. This is documented now. Be ready for jihad. We are going to do jihad and we are going to do this. We are going to get the people who are chosen by Allah, who are destined by Allah to do jihad. That is so that what do you call that? Insect of jihad has not died. It's still very much, very much flowing in the blood. And the Mullah Munir is again talking of jihad. They are using now Chinese satellite intel and Chinese drones to see how can they infiltrate India. Where are those dark spots and corners from which they can infiltrate? That is the number two thing what we have done. And number three is, I'll take you a couple of days back. There was an article in one of the publications called Sunday Guardian, which said that, it was written by a Tehreek-e-Taliban spokesperson, an ex-spokesperson. He clearly stated, he said, before Pahalgam happened, I had kind of warned you that there's an attack which is coming up in around somewhere in Kashmir because Pakistan has activated all those proxy networks. And when the proxy networks get activated, it's but natural they are planning some attack. I think 18 or 19 days after that article of Sunday Guardian, the attack happened in Pahalgam. Now, this man is claiming there are two more attacks which the Pakistani army is planning as we talk right now. Two more attacks are being planned. Now, where are these talks? Where are these attacks being planned? One attack is being planned, as per him, anywhere is around the public transport of India. Where anyone have these big metro stations, rail stations, wherever you are. These big metro stations and big, rail stations of India, the one attack is kind of planned. And what is going to be what they were planning to do in the attack? There was a person who was caught in Afghanistan by the local authorities there, and they recovered from him a fake Afghani passport. The idea was that this fake Afghani passport will be used in the attack, and it will be purposely dropped there. So when the Indian authorities trace it, they will trace it to Afghanistan. They say, okay, this is the Afghans who are doing this attack, and the India-Afghanistan fiasco can start. That is next on the cards, and they might be able to get through it someday, but we don't know. So that is what the Afghani intelligence has told India. This is what has been happened, and we have caught them. And there are chances, there are rumors, and there is credible evidence now, regarding this possibility. And now, if you look into the past, they have got a lot of attacks done within Afghanistan using proxies of Afghanistan against Afghanistan. So that aspect cannot be ruled out. Second aspect which they are mentioning is there can be attack around, they can orchestrate something around India-China border. They can have a flare-up and kind of try to make it into a Galwan-like situation where the Indian, where the Indian and Chinese soldiers are eye to eye with each other, and they will hope and pray something bigger breaks up. Because the problem is that ISI and Pakistan army knows, unless and until this region is boiling and burning and there are a lot of persistence problems, they are in an existential crisis. Their business of selling jihad and getting into power will not be there, because if there is no need of jihad, we don't need the people who believe in jihad, taqwa, iman, fizibillah. We believe in Allah and we'll do jihad in the name of Allah. So that fundamental purpose of the Pakistani army and the ISI gets defeated. So as long as that fundamental purpose is alive, if you have to burn the world around it, go and do it. So that is what they were doing. And now you will tell me, the viewers will tell me, okay, China and Pakistan are friends. Hey, why should Pakistanis do that? That's a legitimate question. I know that will come. There have been a lot of attacks on Chinese within Afghanistan, and they were done by Afghans. But when the people got caught, they said they're allegiance to ISI. It's not like ISI has not done it before. ISI has got Chinese nationals eliminated in Afghanistan through Afghan nationals, but they were affiliated to, ISI. So this ISI Afghan Pakistan nexus is something not new. And if you look at these two attacks, this is quite a possibility that these kind of attacks can happen here, possibly would happen here, and they're planning something like that. So Pakistan does not change. Pakistan does not change its colors. Now, what is happening in Pakistan? Oh, they keep on dying, they keep on bleeding, they keep on losing soldiers every day. But you know what is soldiers to them? Soldiers to them is what we call in Hindi chule ki lagdi. When you have to let that chula, you need to put some firewood right in it. A dying soldier is a firewood put in the oven. Is a firewood put in that chula. Is exactly a piece of wood needs to burn for it to generate enough heat to boil food or to cook meals or to make a chapati or a chawal or whatever. Exactly in that manner and connotation, the dying Pakistani soldier is that firewood which keeps the furnace of jihad burning. That is exactly how Pakistan works. So this is point number 2, which is very, very important, that people in Pakistan, soldiers in Pakistan will keep on dying. And if somebody thinks that it is something unusual, this should not happen, this will change Pakistan. Oh, no. More people die, the more is the need of jihad. The more people die, the more is the need to keep the furnace burning. That's a very important aspect you have to see here. Now let's talk to why is Pakistan starving? Now let's talk to the Indus Water Treaty. Now, if we look at what is happening in the Pakistan as on date when we talk, there are visible cracks in the Pakistani agriculture setup. The Pakistani agriculture setup is based on rotation of crops. Today it is the time of Kharif crop, which is essentially sown in monsoon, and this is the time for sowing of the crop. After May it starts, and now Pakistanis already had a deficiency of 17 to 23%. The numbers vary. What was the water deficiency? Now what is being happening is that with the limited flow of the rivers, and this after this abeyance of IWT, the amount of water which is flowing into Pakistan has been reduced substantially. Now the Pakistani Weather Department, who is today claiming, and by the way, before that, Pakistan has written 4 letters to India, pleading and requesting, kindly give us more water, which India keeps on denying because terror and talks cannot go together, blood and water cannot flow together. Now, what is to their misery? Let me assume it's only 14%, it's not 23%, or let me only assume it's around 17%. Now, other 13% of a shortfall has come in. So, even if it is 17, add another 13 to it. So, it becomes around 30% of shortage is already there. So, Pakistanis are feeling 30% of shortage in their water table or in their availability of the water for the Kharif crop. Now, the Pakistani weatherman or the meteorological department has been saying that if we have a good monsoon, then inshallah there'll be no problem. But the problem with that is that the region which is mostly affected is Sindh and Punjab. And the challenge Pakistani weather department did not tell them, or is not telling them, what we are going to tell them here is that, look guys, it's not about good or monsoon, bad monsoon. Projections are that Pakistan is not going to have a good monsoon. Even if it's a normal monsoon, the time when the monsoon will start hitting Punjab, it is June end or first or second week of July. I mean, between 30th June to 15th July, it can hit in a normal due course of time, Punjab. But the challenge is when you are cultivating Kharif right now, do you have another 1 month to wait for the monsoon? The answer is no. So Kharif crop is on the verge of failure in Pakistan. So we are looking at a scenario where the Kharif crop will possibly fail, and the Pakistani weatherman or the Pakistani government doesn't have balls to admit that yes, the Kharif crop is failing and we are not telling you the truth. So this facade of monsoon coming and good monsoon, it doesn't matter, because you can't wait for the monsoon. You can't wait for another 1 month. The crops will die. The saplings or the seeds will die. So this is where the Pakistani problem is. And let me tell you, Pakistan never got its irrigation infrastructure updated. all the major updates that happened in 65. After 1965, there was no irrigation which was kind of being done. No irrigation infrastructure was kind of enhanced. You know why? Because India got them used to a trick. What was the Indian trick? This Baghihal and Salal. We used to always open the doors of these two reservoirs and let the surplus water go into Pakistan. Now, this water, as per IWT, was not what they were supposed to get. It was a kind of a bonus because we didn't have the storage capacity, or we didn't want the water, or out of goodwill or whatever, we let this water go in. So when this free cup water was getting into Pakistan, Pakistanis thought, why should we build canals? Why should we build dams? Why should we build an irrigation system? Because this free cup pani is anyway going to come, and when this comes, this will hit our what do you call this? This will hit our irrigation system, and we'll have this free water, and this free water will help us get rid of all these things. Now, the problem with the Pakistanis is now we have closed the dams, or the gates of Baghihal and Salal. So again, that free water, which was not a part of treaty, that shortage is being felt in Pakistan. And the double whammy is, there's one more double whammy to it. The double whammy is India has stopped giving the water flow coordinates to Pakistan. What does that mean? This is a very interesting thing. The flow of water is how much water I'm going to release, when, where, and how, and all this we'll stop giving. So one is you stop the water, but you cannot stop the water, you have to release some water also. Look how it works. You cannot stop all the water, you have to release some water also. So how does it work? So earlier there was a pattern. Okay, this is the amount of water which will keep on flowing to you. This is the quantum of water which will flow to you. Okay, we're increasing a bit or we're decreasing it, we'll tell you in advance. Now the problem here is, after no water information is kind of shared with Pakistan, what Bharat is doing is either you are closing the gates, so they are in a perfect drought, or suddenly one day you decide to open the gates. And then all the water starts and floods everything. So either you are killed by a drought or you are killed by a flash flood. Because the sharing of water data is very, very important, which India has decided not to share with them. Now, Pakistan technically cannot complain, you're not giving me any water. We gave you all the water, right? Let's say we are releasing 100 cusecs of water every day. For 10 days, you need 1,000. Okay, on the 10th day, I release all the 1,000. Take it. So practically or technically, I've given you 1,000 cusecs of water for 10 days. But I never told you how, when, and where I'm going to give you this water. So Pakistan is facing this equation wherein either the droughts will kill the crops, or a flash flood can be more devastating than a drought. So you are looking at, you have a pistol and a revolver on your head, and you're just pulling the trigger and saying which one will go first. It's exactly what the Pakistan is saying. So the starvation in Pakistan is quite evident, and things are getting really out of the thing, because this droughts and starvation and flash floods are all working out. And that context, there are two more things which have come up in Pakistan, which are very, very sensational. One is that the Pakistan is coming up with a budget. Now, budget in Pakistan is like a ice cream pakoda. Ice cream pakoda. You can't have ice cream. You can't put that basin around ice cream and fry it in a pan. So that is ice cream pakoda. I don't know what the budget in Pakistan means. It's a joke in itself. Now, there are some achievements of Mr. Aurangzeb, the finance minister of Pakistan. He says, from CC minus, we have now become BB minus. Our credit rating has improved. From CC minus to BB minus, our credit rating has substantially improved. We are doing great. From no foreign exchange reserves in the banks, the Pakistan claims it has around $13-14 billion. I'm very sure that a couple of years down the line, Mr. Iyer will have more than that money, but he doesn't have it right now. But right now, he says, I have $14 billion in my bank. And he says this 9 billion is by the State Bank of Pakistan and 4 billion is by the commercial banks. So we have improved substantially. Pakistan is doing fantastic. Now he says the inflation is down by from 40% to let's say 41%. The inflation is down by another 7%. From 41 to 8. So these are the kind of numbers which are given. But the most sensational number, what we have to look at, these are all window dressing and numbers. Oh, our exports have increased. I'll answer one question which you would always have and which you always had. I've tried to answer it on a couple of platforms, but here I'm going to answer it again. I know the question which is hitting your mind, where did the money in Pakistan come? I'll explain that. Hold on to that thought. That is the question. I know where it will come, and you'll be surprised where it came from. Now, the second aspect is, what is the financial health of Pakistani system? How good or bad it is? Debt of Pakistan is touching around $279 billion. So if you look at debt to GDP ratio, 68%. 68%. Quite high. And how much is the international debt? International debt of Pakistan has risen to $130 billion. $130 billion. And if you take a GDP of 300 billion or 310, 320, it's almost 1/3 of the GDP. So there are two important figures here. Total cumulative debt to GDP ratio and foreign debt, which has to be paid in dollars, by the way, to GDP ratio. And in last 4 years, under the able leadership of Imran Khan Niazi and super able leadership of Muhammad Shahbaz Sharif Sahab, the Pakistani debt has doubled in last 4 years. Whatever you are seeing right now, it has all doubled in last 4 years. So last 4 years have been a washout, have been a bloodbath, have been something which has really taken Pakistan back into Stone Age. And on the top of that, the military spending on year has been increasing. The percentage of budget allocated to military has been year on year has been increasing, and the percentage of budget allocated to education has been decreased and allocated to the military. Now you'll see what the hell is happening here. No, it's not all. It's not all. Hold on. There are a lot of things to talk about. When it comes to Pakistan, you can talk for a day. So they are cutting the money for the education and putting the money, giving the more money to Asim Munir for his gizmos and adventures. Now, when they were asked about where did this debt come from, Aurangzeb says, he says, look, the 30 billion out of 130 billion foreign debt is from CPEC. So there's a revelation here. CPEC has a debt burden of Pakistan on $30 billion. And knowing the interest which the Chinese private banks have, charging which nobody knows, officially in Pakistan, we never disclosed, is around 8%. Now, another data shows that out of this debt, whatever the debt is, debt servicing cost is 50% of the foreign exchange reserves. So if you have a foreign exchange reserve of, let's say, X amount of money, 50% of that will just go to the debt interest payments. So basically, when you look at plus and minus, you have nothing left. Even if you have 30 billion in foreign exchange reserves, 15 billion have to go towards interest. So you're left with 15. If you have 10, if you have 5 are with you. If you have 4, 2 are with you, practically. Now, with 4, you might not have anything. So the question is that even whatever those $14 billion are talked about, at least 10 of them are already earmarked for paying the interest to the loans which Pakistan has. The economy has trembled and shaken. Now, I was mentioning you about one important aspect. The money has been put to the military and the money has been cut from education. Now, let's do an analogy. Now, what is the literacy rate of Pakistan today? The literacy rate of Pakistan today is 60%. Just 60%. Because they're cutting money to the education. I think the males are slightly more educated, around 54 or 58%. Females are 48%. Provinces like Balochistan are the last in the literacy because they are not putting any money there. And there is another problem is that the education of the girl child is not happening. And the most sensational part is that there are millions of kids. 38% of the kids have dropped out of the school. So they are not going to school at all. 38% of the kids are not going to the school. That is what Pakistan claims. But if I look at my numbers, this might be even crossing 50%. Now I have a very heartbreaking story to share with you, but give me a minute. So this is how exactly the story. So the 50% of the kids literally, practically don't end up going to the school. So with every year, the literacy rate of Pakistan is going to fall. Because kids are the people who are, if they start dropping out at 50%, you will never cross a literacy rate of even 50%. So whatever we are claiming right now, 60%, this is not sustainable, this is going to fall. And out of that, the literacy of the girl child is all the more horrible. So that means out of, practically speaking, out of 5 girls, only 2 are educated maximum. 3 are not. That is how it looks like. Now there are 3 questions which are coming here. Why does Pakistan do this? What happens to these kids and where does the money come from? These are the 3 questions which must be in your mind. I'm going to answer one by one. Look, why does Pakistan do this? Pakistan does this because if you want that economy of jihad, if you want that economy of mullah military nexus to prevail, your masses should be uneducated. Girls should not be educated. mullahs and Maulvis should be able to give the sermons, and military should be able to hold on to the power, and politician is by default a byproduct of this nexus, unholy alliance. So for any Islamic country to thrive, the first thing they try to do is to keep people uneducated, so that these mullahs and Maulvis can control them. For them, literacy, for them, poverty is a virtue, because this poverty gives them perpetual supply of the firewood for army and for the business of jihad. So you have two ovens which are burning. One is army, where people get killed, and where is the jihad, where people like Kasab and all, you need them every day. So this perpetual poverty gives you enough supply of firewood for both the ovens. So you can have both the ovens running, and you can be getting your hands warm. That is what Pakistan does. Another aspect is, now what happens to these kids who don't go to school? Are they illiterate? What is happening to them? Now, there was an interesting article in France 24, I think 48 hours back or 3 days back, which we wanted to discuss in the last episode, but we could not. According to that article, it's now not us saying, it's France 24 saying. They say that in Pakistan, the children of the poor and underprivileged are promised, why don't you go to Madrassa? Madrassa, you will get religious education, you will get even some kind of certification, and the education is completely free. So now this poor child, especially male child, definitely goes to a madrasa. I think madrasa is only for male childs, not for female childs. Female children are not sent to madrasa, only males are sent. Now a male child, poor, who cannot afford a school, who is not going to the school, 101% go to a madrasa, because it is shown as it's shown as like this. So there are two alternates. One is this education system, this is this education system. You don't want this, forget it. Okay, let's go to this education system. That is how they will project it. Now what happens inside that education system? Inside that education system, what France 24 claims, he says that there are around 18,000 registered madrasas in Pakistan. But my information says 33,000, and are registered and unregistered put together 100,000. They say there are 1.8 million children, 2.2 million, 2.1 or 2.2 million children in these 18,000 madrasas. That is, if I convert it into lakhs, that is 22 lakhs. And what is the most sensational revelation what France 27 claims, after having met a lot of people, he said that most of the male child there, 14, 13, 12, they all get raped. They're all sexually abused. And who are the perpetrators? Are exactly their teachers and the Maulanas who are supposed to teach them. And there have been instances when a 14-year-old child, you pull the trousers and force yourself on them. And you ask, there are attempts, come and clean my room. When they get into the room, you lock the room and force yourself on them. And this process of mass rape is going on there. There are a lot of children who live with it, don't talk. There are a lot of parents who know that their children are getting raped every day by mullahs and maulvis, but they choose not to talk. I will tell you why they choose not to talk. There's a sound logic behind it. Why they choose not to talk? Because this is a question which must be coming to your mind. Why the hell they are not talking? First of all, it's not a democracy what it looks on the periphery. It's a managed democracy. It's a manicured democracy, which is not a democracy in the real sense. There's no freedom of expression there. But still, why don't they talk? I'll come to that. So now, France 24 claims there are hardly any children who do not get raped. Now, if I look at my number says there are 100,000 madrasas, and the number of children going to madrasas may be around 1 crore, 100 million. So out of them, if you see even for 30, 40, 50% are raped perpetually, you can understand there is a factory of rape. There's a factory of child abuse. There's a factory of child, I don't know what English to use around it. I'm running out of words. What is happening in Pakistan at industrial level? And that is why, if you refer to the article of the Dawn, the newspaper of Pakistan, it said that 90% of child who gets raped in Pakistan is a male child. That is where the reason comes from, because male childs end up going to these Maulanas, and Maulanas in the pretext of giving you free education, which is not free because you have to pay through sexual favors, is where the maximum of the male child gets raped. Now there's a concept of bachebazi. We discussed about that, how these kids are kept in their school, in their trucks, in those small food shanties, where they are even used to do the work, and they are also used for sexual adventures. So these essentially male child, because male child, if I can be candid, male child doesn't get pregnant. That is where the logic comes from. Though homosexuality in Islam is punishable by death, but for them it's okay. That's Pakistan. It's called bachabazi. There's an Urdu word for it, bachabazi. Bacha means kid. Bachabazi means what you can join the words and understand. So now
Pedophilia.
pedophilia. You can now question is here. So I have answered one question: how do 90% of the kids get raped? Now why don't they report? Why can't they report? Dar kis baat ka? The dar is blasphemy law. In Pakistan, there's a very, very powerful blasphemy law. Anybody can be accused of blasphemy law. And the blasphemy law was essentially used for three purposes: to control minorities, to take over their properties, and to use it against your political rivals or anybody who you think is stretching beyond his weight. So what does you do? So if you are if your child gets raped in Pakistan, you want to go to police or complain. What they can do, these three mullahs can get together and put a blasphemy charge on your child. There's a 99% chance the child will be killed before he reaches the courts or before courts can do anything around it. So if you don't want your child to be killed, or you don't want your house to be burned, or the child's father or mother to be killed, or child's mother to be raped by 100 illiterate bastards, so what do? You keep quiet. Let the child getting raped and raped and raped. You keep quiet. Second blasphemy law, where is it used? It is used to get a land grab. Let's say there are people who have a lot of land. There are people from minorities who are doing business. You want their business. Now they are not willing to give you the business, or they are not willing to sell you the land. So what do you use? You use this blasphemy, put it on them. Either they have the two options: either flee the country or get killed. So then it's a good way to get rid of your rivals and do a land grab, like was status government administration rather than male children. Goat is the perpetual hobby. Goat is the perpetual hobby that goes across demographics. So now what happens is that then now there's a Ahmadiyya, there's a Bohra, there's a Hindu. There's a person you want to take over his business, you threaten him. Okay, you don't agree to me, I'll have blasphemy against you, and then you are gone. You will be killed someday. Your children will be raped in the streets. So what does a poor chap do? He will sell the property and he will run away. Or now it's a Muslim and a Muslim. I am a powerful Muslim and you are not such a powerful Muslim. I am very well connected with this mullah military nexus and I want to settle something with you. What will I do? I'll press this blasphemy charges on you. So because I am backed, my charges will hold, and your charges you can be lynched in next 30 minutes. That is how powerful these charges are, if I am powerful. Another aspect. Now, so with this blasphemy law in place, you can exactly manage and manipulate whatever you can do in Pakistan. Nobody will ask questions as long as you're powerful. Now, before I get to the where does Pakistan get the money? The IMF said that Pakistan will grow at 3.6%. Pakistan has revised its growth, and you'll be very happy to know Pakistan says they will grow at 2.6% only. So, sorry, Mr. IMF, you can be ambitious, but we are going at 2.6% only. Now, for a small economy to grow at 2.6% is disastrous, whereas the birth rate of Pakistan is more than the growth rate of Pakistan. The birth rate of Pakistan is 3.5%, but the economic growth rate of Pakistan is expected to be 2.6%. That's the first part. Now, the question you ask me, where the hell does Pakistan get the money? Paisa kahan se aata hai? One source, which is still up and running and not dried. It is the foreign repatriation. All those taxiwalas, all those laborers, all those beggars which operate in 93 countries, taxiwalas, laborers, coolies, genters, all these Pakistanis who run the most elite profession of Pakistan, that is begging, to all those small time things like janitor, cleaner, driver, to even some of the women who are in flesh trade. All this money is still fueling Pakistan, and the money is in the tune of 27 to 33 billion dollars. A country which begs for $1 billion. Imagine the repatriations come in the tune of 27 to 33 billion dollars. Though over the years they have decreased, but still, if you're a janitor somewhere and
Namaskar. There is some technical difficulty where both of us disappeared from the scene. I could see Sumitji talking, but I think you could not. So we are trying to reset the whole session. Everything is intact. Those of you who are staying will continue to watch it. Sumitji is rejoining somewhere. Somebody is doing some hanky-panky. StreamYard has been up and down in the last few days. I hope that they figure out what the problem is and they fix it. Right now, Sumitji is still rejoining us. I just request all of you to just wait for a few moments before he comes back and we can resume this talk. Just 1 second, I'm getting a message. And viewers, we still have a fair amount of Sengols to sell. Those of you who have not got your Sengol, please do order it. And we are selling both versions, that is one with the enclosure and one without. And you can place your order on our website. The links are given in the chat mode here. You can go there and choose which one you want, whether you want the one with the enclosure or the one without the enclosure. And these are being sold temporarily, just for a week. The enclosure is out of stock, but we will start backfilling the orders in about a week's time. We are trying to do something even better in the enclosure, so stay tuned on that. But at least you can go ahead and place your orders for regular Sengols, and the one with enclosure, you can place it, but it will take a week. We are trying to do something that makes that product even more brilliant. That's the whole idea. And I'm trying to see what happened to Sumitji. I have multiple computers in and around me, each one monitoring one different thing. And by the way, this has become a regular feature now. We know that they don't want us in Pakistan, so they've banned us there. But looks like people in Pakistan are pretty clever. They may be using VPN, because I see a lot of people coming and taking a dump on our chat window. And they probably are using VPN, virtual private networks, and joining in from Pakistan to find out what's going on, because this is where the truth gets told. And we had another session in the morning about an hour ago with Colonel Raina, and that was a huge hit. And this one was a follow-up where we looked at the other aspects of Pakistan, and this is where we are. Sachinji, I'm sure you're trying to reach Sumit to find out whether he is having some technical difficulties rejoining. At least I can see you all. I don't know what happened to why suddenly the whole thing dropped, but at least we are back here. There he is. Sumitji just got back. Oh, so sorry, Sumitji. It was just crazy.
I thought I'm talking, my live meter is going on, I'm talking to people. I thought you moved out for a second. Then I got a call, I'm not live. I said, but I looked live to me, I don't know. Anyway,
last 3 minutes got lost. Last 3 minutes got lost. So, see, I'll tell you when I logged out. I logged out when you were talking about the people, looking at remittances was over. After that, we were talking about various smaller things. That's where we left off. Maybe you can wrap up in the next 2-3 minutes, because we have a lot of questions also to take.
Sure. What I'm going to talk about, look, there's a way. I wanted to talk about the achievements of Operation Sindoor, but I don't think I have time for that. Maybe I try that. That's more interesting. Now, maybe we extend for a few minutes, right? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So, what happened is, look, with all these things happening, now it's a classical thing. The army or the forge has to do jihad. For doing jihad, they need this firewood, which is a soldier or a jihadi. So the society gives you enough firewood. So what do you do to the society? You keep them illiterate, right? You spend the money on military, not on society. You make women as commodity. You do polygamy, have 4 wives at any given point of time, and make them illiterate and make them as sex objects. For the male child, you get them raped, 90% of them, when they grow up. So that dominance is there, and they've lost all their ego and esteem. Most of them end up to be illiterates. So you get them, right? You control all the business which makes money. 4G, Tanzim, Bahariya, Askari, $26 billion. The expats keep on sending the money. That keeps on economy running somehow. And whatever money is made by that shambled economy, you siphon that out and put it in the banks in America, UK, or properties and mansions. That is how Pakistan runs. And then when these people are poor and they're running for their 2 meals a day, then comes the mullahs. Mullahs are able to give sermons. Mullahs have a halala rate card. It is a halala rate card. They have a halala rate card, and between halala and halal, that the whole life of a person gets caught. And the army and the politicians have a gala time. And Pakistan, that is why it runs. So it doesn't matter you stop their water. It doesn't matter how many people does Baloch kill. It doesn't matter you have a drought. It doesn't matter that debts is increasing and the economy is failing and it is going to fail. The Chinese have killed you. It doesn't matter. The jihad will thrive because the ecosystem is designed around having perpetual firewood for jihad. Now, this is the first part of what I was saying, and repatriations have an important part. Now, what happened in Operation Sindoor? Now, when this mullah army, okay, this is good. I'm running the ecosystem, but when they asked to deliver, these mullah army always fails. They cannot deliver all the time. Recently in Operation Sindoor, they said, "Oh, we have done this, we have done this here." God, good. Now they provided some satellite imagery and all that. Now, I don't have a lot of time, so I will not get in detail. I'll just tell 5 instances or 6 instances of how they were wrong. Now, there is this gentleman called Sherman. I think that's his name. He's an independent analyst. He's a Caucasian. What has he been doing? He has been following this Pakistani claims for quite some time. And yesterday, he came up with line by line rebuttals of how Pakistan faked it. I'll take you through him. He's an independent analyst. He's a Caucasian. He's not Indian, and he's known for this. Now, first thing which was done by Pakistanis during Operation Sindoor was, as I told you, there were 115 Chinese satellites which were looking at us, right? Now, these Chinese satellites were filming everything around us. For example, they said that there was a Su-31 which was parked in Adampur, right? And we went and we bombed Adampur and India lost Su-31. They showed a picture. It had a black spot. It has a plane. They said, look, Adampur, Su-31 gone. Now, happy. Now, where did the picture come from? The picture came from the Chinese satellite imagery. Chinese gave them the picture. Where was the picture of? Adampur. But when was the picture taken? The picture was taken in March of 25, before the Operation Sindoor started. What happened on March of 25? There was a MiG-29 which had got some problem, and they had opened the engine and all, and they were trying to repair it. So there was a lot of those stuff around it. So what did they do? They took the same picture, keeping the identicals of the keeping as much of the surroundings same. They increased the blackness around that the engine side and said, look, this is how we have hit, and the MiG is Su-31 is lost. So now what does this gentleman, this shows the current picture, last picture, and this has given 2-3 pictures and showed them how you were all BS. That is one. Second is that they know, there was in Bhuj you lost let's say this S-400. How did they do it? Again, you see Chinese are working hand in glove with them, exactly giving them the pictures. Now, even Bhuj Air Base, I think 2-3 months back, there was an accident or incident wherein one caught car in the parking lot or in the dockyard, caught fire, and the car got burned due to whatever reasons. Now, the Chinese must have had a picture of that. So what did Chinese do? They exactly pulled that picture of Bhuj Air Base, the car. Now, around that, there were black spots because it had turned black. There's a lot of black spots around it. So what did they do? They gave it to Pakistanis. ISPR told it, oh, wow. So identical, surroundings same, you can't challenge. Now, in spite of that car, they did a little bit of Photoshop and say it's S-400. S-400 were destroyed. Now the person shows the current S-400, shows before and after pictures. But the Chinese bloody forgot that they only have the satellite imagery. And these bloody jihadis of Pakistan, that they could only know the Photoshop. That too very lousy Photoshop, because in Madrassa, the quality of Photoshop, which is not as bad. Maybe Molly was more interested in the rape than teaching them the Photoshop. And that's what it looks to me. Now that is the point number 2. Now point number 3, this Laila Air, our one airbase, I don't remember the name. They showed that the runway was bombed and there's a black spot. Now when this person, this independent analyst gets into it, what does he find? There was a black cloud. It is the runway. So the cloud hits, you will have this black patch. You can see the black patch coming to my hand. You see?
Yeah.
So they exactly filmed this with and put it a little bit of more color. Bhai runway gaya. So they say, bloody hell, bastards, this is a black patch. This is a cloud which has come in the shadow of the cloud on the runway. I was saying, we bombed the runway. And when the Operation Sindoor happened in the night, how the hell could you bomb it in the day? So and then there was one more thing. He said, oh, now we have destroyed this Srinagar airfield were destroyed. So then he shows the pictures of the Srinagar airfield before Operation Sindoor, 2 days Operation Sindoor, and flights were coming and going. Then again the Jammu Air Base, they said this. They said something about the Avantipur Air Base, so one jet crashed and all this. So there were at least 5 or 6 things which were systematically debunked, and the imagery was not taken, thankfully, from a Chinese company, was taken from there are a lot of companies in the world which sell this satellite imagery. So the satellite imagery was taken from that. It debunked that whatever Pakistan was claiming was all BS, was cheap Chinese material. But you have to admit one thing, Chinese exactly gave them the pictures of those airways, but the incident was not there. So do you see how much China is watching us, how much China is hand in glove with Pakistan, and how much China has been a part of this bullshit propaganda which the Pakistanis have been running to right. So if somebody has an egg on his face, it's Pakistan. If somebody has a rotten egg on his face, it's People's Republic of China, because they are now completely exposed. And this guy is a Firang. He's a Caucasian. He's not Indian. Huh? And he has debunked the theories. At least 5 or 6 of them he has debunked. So after that, Pakistan has nothing to talk about this. They don't have nothing to talk about this. Right? Yeah, the second one, yeah, Nilaya Airbus, right? Nilaya Airbus, where they said it was a runway. There was this problem with the runway. So, Adhampur, Bhuj, Niraya, Jammu, Srinagar, Avantipur, all 5 claims of Pakistanis were debunked, and these Chinese, these Chinese provided the images. Pakistanis did the Photoshop and showed to the whole world. Now, this is how this country works. When this bloody army is asked to deliver, what do? They run to their papa in China, ask for a picture, give it to ISPR, and tell him, can you add a more black color? Can you make it a bit good, zoom here? At least that, what do they call it? There is a, Sachin Bhai, can you find the name for this? Lallu wood कहते हैं शायद, Lallu wood or something. This Lahore picture industry is called something. कुछ और भी कहते हैं. मेरे दिमाग में कुछ और भी आ रहा है. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not talking. There is a name.
Something to do with Mandi.
हाँ, वो मैं मन नहीं बोलूंगा. There is something to very derogatory word which is used from them. Lollywood. अरे Lollywood तो given name है, but एक और नाम है. मिलता जुलता. Something. क्या बोलूं सर, समझो, मतलब it's something, they are called something like that. They should have gone to these Lollywood guys and asked them to do even a better job. ये ISPR में the Maulana who taught you was much busy in doing a rape rather than teaching you Photoshop. So that is what the Pakistani army is. This is how badly they are exposed. Now these exposes are carried by even American news agencies. They are carried by Europeans. They are carried by Germans. They are carried by the global media. And this validates how did India whack them black and blue, and how these bloody Chinese and Pakistanis got together and tried to do a photo shot competition. So that is why I called this General Munir. You are not a general. You should be a graphical editor. You are not interested in planes. You are interested in JPEGs. That's why I call him. I have this connotation. No jets. You're interested in JPEGs. So you should be a graphical editor. Forget being a general. And that is what you are, and that is what you should be. But come what may, the epicenter or the thrust booster of Pakistan is jihad, and it will continue to be that. Whatever we say and do, we cannot change that. So that is, I say, whatever you do to Pakistan, jihad thrives. In whichever way, jihad thrives, because misery makes more and more firewood for jihad. If I conclude in a sentence, misery makes more and more firewood for the jihad, and Pakistani system will keep on creating enough misery, more and more misery, sir, and more firewood for jihad is required. And when the jihad oven burns, there's some people who make a lot of money, and there's some people who really thrive, but most of the people get perished in it. Huri wood. Atul bhai creative हो रहे. L से नाम है, L से. Lollywood का L से नाम है. मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा. तो ये इनको लुल्लूवुड वालों को बुलाना चाहिए.
Sarji, let's wrap up and take questions now.
Yeah, let's. That's what the last sentence is. More misery, more firewood for jihad. As simple as that.
Let's take some questions now, please. Vishnu Gopi wants to know, Sri sir, what's happening in Los Angeles? News of Marines deployed. Well, this is out of topic, but let me tell you that the Democrats are really plumbing new lows. Couple of their congresswomen are now saying very, very nasty stuff. And one Democratic congressman starts taking videos, starts recording videos in Chinese on how to evade deduction when you are illegally coming into the United States. So Democrats have lost their mind. I don't know when they are going to be starting to be thrown into jail. AOC is in the crosshairs, Ilhan Omar, then the Maxine, this lady Maxine Waters, if I remember correctly, she was stopped from going to Los Angeles. The thing is, she can hardly stand on her feet. On one side, one person has to hold her. On the other side, another person has to hold her. She's still a congresswoman. And I'm not being allowed to go into, just satkela. Same problem with Nancy Pelosi also. She can't, walk properly. Almost always on drugs. There are some interviews where you can clearly see she has drugged herself before answering the question. Question is something, answer is something else. Things are really, really getting bad. The politics of US are plumbing new lows every day. And I can only tell you that LA is one place where it's a huge concrete jungle, guys. Huge concrete jungle. There is one road, Sumiji, there is one road that is a straight line for 20 miles, 32 kilometers. It's a straight line. And LA has grown so big now that if you want to cross from one side to the other, it could take you up to 4 to 5 hours. Oh, it's a mess. Anyway, so that's where probably a lot of people are hiding, the illegals, and now they are being smoked out. And the lilies are all there in force. We'll have to wait and see. The National Guard has been called in, and if Marines come in, then it's going to start becoming more ugly. I think there are neighborhoods that can be rounded off, and then start saying anybody who wants to come out, show your ID and come out. Otherwise, anybody who's remaining after that, every door-to-door search, scoop them, put them in a truck, and it's not very far from the border, sir. It's only 130 miles to Mexican border. Just take them lock, stock and barrel, throw them across the border. Uske baad jao, don't come back. This is the story that's going to happen. Once this happens in LA, I can tell you it will repeat in Texas towns. There are many Texas border towns. Arizona also a lot of problem. So all these places you'll start seeing this kind of protest. But I think this is a fight to finish. Once the Trump administration figures out a way to work despite the state government stopping them, okay, then this is going to happen. See, I can see clearly why they are doing it. Trump has refused to give them the money. California is running in huge deficits. Sarji, we are paying close to 100% now, my back of the envelope calculation, tax on our gasoline. 100%. Yeah, the price now, barrel price is $60 to $62 a barrel, and the pump price, and this is a very efficiently run pump, that means on the lowest side, $4.40. $4.40 per gallon. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. This should be, you go to a state in the Midwest or something, it will be $2.50 a gallon. So who's taking this $2 extra per gallon? It's all going towards taxes. California has gone mad. They are also passing some very weird legislations. There is a nominal Republican presence. It's mostly Democrats. And these people are just, I don't know, lost their mind. That's all I can say. Major purge in the political hierarchy needed. Whether it will happen or not, I don't know. But that's the need of the hour. I'm sorry to run on and on. Next question, please. Rome Mide wants to know, or Rome Mide, I don't know what is it exactly. Hindi mein likho yaar naam to hum asani se we can pronounce it. Op Sindoor is done, fine, but when Op Indore within the country to study and take legal action on the Lely gangs, anti-op rhetoric during Sindoor, particularly Tamil Nadu channels. Yes?
Yeah, this should be done. I mean, that is where a Ministry of Internal Security is required, because this propaganda is an important aspect of the warfare. And like this friend of ours who has debunked this Pakistani propaganda is a hero for us, because, because in today's warfare, propaganda is a very important tool. And if you have these channels who are trying to portray the other image, they should be taken to the task. But today we don't have mechanism, brother, to handle it. Where is the mechanism to handle it? We don't have a ministry. We don't have anything to handle it. And in fact, there should be a ministry which should also keep India's cause always ahead. Like there should be a ministry, a department of communications. I don't know how do you do it, but there should be always something which should be done, because I believe if you don't do it, we are heading for a big problem. You can't always keep on sending delegations to 33 countries to tell your side of the story. Well, that's not feasible.
Next one, please. Ramesh T wants to know, Sarji, will the recent change in the stance of the USA that has come in support of Bikaristan have any impact on the cross-border terrorism? Will it increase multifold?
I think USA is only giving lip service to Pakistan. They're trying to keep them happy, and they are trying to tell you that we are not completely with you, because they know if Modi ji gets unconditional support of Trump, he might tomorrow go and whack whatever is left of the Pakistani nuclear chain. So that is why they're saying, okay, we're also with them. In a way, when you support both the sides, what do you ensure? You ensure there is minimum conflict. By supporting both the sides, the quantum of conflict which can happen is drastically reduced. I think that is what the Americans are trying to do. Americans know they have no future with Pakistan. They don't need Pakistan except a strategic leverage against India, China, Afghanistan, and Iran, and they might need to do an operation against Iran. They will need Pakistan. Minus that, why do Americans need Pakistan? They don't need Pakistan for a lot of things, but they need India for hundreds of things. If I can put on if I can do a table, okay, Pakistan need for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. India needed for maybe 1005. That is what the difference is. But today you have to manage the things. Even Trump yesterday said, oh, look, there was not going to be a nuclear war. But if let to go on, it could have led to a nuclear war. So he has even kind of backtracked on his statements. But when you understand that the global geopolitics, I think the world is really going through a tough patch. And what I am seeing in LA is something like what they're trying to start is Black Lives Matter and kind of a thing again. That is what they're trying to do. That's what the objective seems to be.
See, 11 million people are now, this is lower end, 20 million is the higher end. This many people are not getting any money from the government anymore. Completely stopped. And who is feeding them? Who is clothing them? Who is sheltering them?
Point is, and I was reading something about LA, sir. I mean, they were saying that out of this 21 million, 3 million people are in California, these illegal aliens.
No, 5 million total.
And 1/3 of that is in LA itself. So around 1.5 people are in LA.
I think it's more than that. Saji, it's more than that. You know why? LA is just that much farther from the border. So the ICE is not very active. It is just that crowded. There are areas where only Latino speaking. That means only Spanish is spoken. Like that. So it's kind of easy to get blend into it. However, there is still a network operating to keep these people fed and clothed. Nobody can afford to, keep them, fed and clothed and housed. It's not easy.
It's basically are these people, I think they can also vote, right?
Not really, but they're trying to get them to vote in city polls and things like that. And there are lots of lawsuits. Now Republicans are fighting back everywhere. It's not that the Republicans are not in big numbers. It is 59-41. 59 Democrat, 41 Republican. And the way this came here is because of an error that Ronald Reagan committed in 1987. In 1987, he said anybody illegally working in agricultural farms for 90 days, 3 months, automatically got green card. Many of those people were in California. They all became Democrats after that. That's why we have this problem today. The original California before Ronald Reagan, see, Ronald Reagan himself was a Republican, was very Republican. It will take some time. Maybe next 10 years it will change. Next one, please. Savyasachi Semal wants to know, sir, what about the series of earthquakes in Pakistan? Does India have a secret weapon? Savyasachi, we just did a program at 7 p.m. Go back and watch that one with Colonel Ajay Raina. It's a complete detailed analysis of this. Next one, please. Sorry, I just jumped the gun. You don't need to answer this. Jaya Ramanji, thank you so much. However, loser Pak manages billions from IMF. How's that?
I think Jaya Ramanji, we had always maintained this stat that even if you get look at the situation of Pakistan, like $279 billion of debt, $130 billion of foreign debt at 8%. Even if they manage to get $1 billion or $2 billion from here and there, how is it going to change the Pakistan? It will not change Pakistan. It will not change anything. Their debt, with all the billions, with all the dole outs, with all the money and rollbacks and all, still in the last 4 years, the debt of the country has doubled, sir. The debt to GDP ratio today is 68%. The country is over. That's where it looks to be. And the economy is growing at 2.6%.
Yeah. Next one, please. Sparkly Spirits wants to know, why would Pakistan threaten more terror after promising Western nations to improve their behavior? Where did they promise?
The point of today's show is that this is not optional in Pakistan. This is how the system is designed now. The society, the system, the control, the checks and balances have evolved in a way wherein they can never stop. It's like, how to explain you? It's like can you stop a cow from eating grass? No, you cannot. Because otherwise, what is she going to eat? The dunk might smell terrible, but that's what it is.
Nitya Kalyanaji says, can you make a stencil of a tilak, especially for ladies? Nitya Kalyanaji, I definitely will. That was on the cards. I actually made a vibhuti for women, which is very small, because the way they wear it is kumkum and then chandan, and on top of that vibhuti. Some people don't put chandan, kumkum, and then small streak of vibhuti. So I did a few things. It takes a lot of time and effort because it's an iterative process and you have to keep trying, experimenting until it comes right. I finally got single vibhuti, got proper, and tripund I'm trying to finish, and then I'll get to this. We are going to give a kit that will be for the family. Hopefully you all will start wearing this. Especially I would like to encourage everybody to start putting chandan circle, and then on top of that actual kumkum, because it keeps you cool during hot summers. India is a hot country. It's always good to do that. Next question, please. Venkat Sai Baba wants to know, sirs, as long as FIs like IMF and World Bank continue funding Pakistan, that country need not have to worry about its forex reserves, growth, or GDP. Your view?
Look, sir, if you look at the numbers, sir, that even if that was the case, why did the debt go double? People are keeping Pakistan alive, but beyond a point, even with these billions coming in, Pakistan will not survive. Today, if you have to reboot Pakistan, you need $1 trillion. You need more than $1 trillion, maybe $2 trillion to reboot it and change the mentality of the people, which is not going to change. The ecosystem is like that. Yes, they can float for some time more. They can float for some time. It's like a patient on ventilator. You give him a couple of antibiotics here, you give him a couple of shots here and there, but ultimately, ventilator is not the solution. Either the patient has to move to the ventilator, otherwise you have to move the ventilator out. That's where it stops.
Rajaraman wants to know, when will Tibet be free, before or after Balochistan?
Definitely after Balochistan, not before Balochistan.
Manoj Soma wants to know, have you seen how the Chaprasi Afridi commenting on India, sir? How can one talk like that, sir? Your views. See, look, these people are pig eating or pig shit eating people, okay? Why do you care what he says? In fact, I'm telling you, the Bollywood industry, cricket industry, politicians, all are compromised, guys. Very few are fighting the good fight on behalf of Bharat. That's why I'm even doing this channel, because I don't feel any need to, toe somebody's line and get paid in millions. You don't know how much money there is in fake journalism these days. Mind-blowing. Okay, that brings us to a close of today's program. Thank you so much, Sumitji, and very, very sorry for the break in the middle. Just something we didn't know what to do. Thank you so much, Sumitji. Let's take the Ashirwad of Mahadev that something like this will not happen again. Namaskar.
On that note, sir, thank you very much. And I would like to request all of viewers, kindly like, share, and subscribe. Press the bell icon so that you can keep on getting the notification of all our videos. That's very important. Press on the all. And kindly do share it on your WhatsApp. That's the least you can do. On that note, Bharat Mata ki jai, Vande Mataram, Om Namah Parvati Pataya, Hara 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 Mahadev.